Hi everyone, welcome to CF Benchmark's Index Bytes. I'm Thomas Adosi, Head of Product.
My name's Gabe Selby, I'm Head of Research.
Today we're going to talk about our Bitcoin Volatility Indices, a set of benchmark indices designed to measure how volatile Bitcoin as a digital asset will be over a 30-day time horizon. So it's a 30-day forward-looking measure of volatility. We have two indices, the BVX, a real-time index calculated every second based on CME option order book data, and the BVXS, a settlement rate that prints once per day at 4 o'clock London time. So Gabe, can you tell us a bit about the market context and why there is a need for an index for Bitcoin volatility?
So volatility indices have stood as pivotal instruments within traditional finance for some time. And now that we're at the stage where Bitcoin is being offered through a spot ETF here in the United States, I think we're seeing a monumental advancement for Bitcoin's credibility among traditional institutional investors. By providing exposure through cost-efficient vehicles, such as an ETF wrapper, we're just going to see more and more institutional investors and retail investors allocate to this. So creating this type of gauge, this type of instrument, this type of index for the very first time for Bitcoin is going to be very pivotal for the industry. So Thomas, what are some key differences between our index and our competitors?
Yeah, good question. So at CFB, we have some strong crypto talent coupled with the relevant finance expertise that really allows us to translate existing models and concepts into crypto. And that's essentially what we have done here. So we have taken the standard methodology based on the pricing of fair variance swap strikes and applied additional guardrails like excluding options that are very far out of the money or very liquid to make sure that the product really retains its level as a high quality, replicable benchmark. What's certainly also different is that with this volatility product, it's based purely on CME traded Bitcoin options. So it's based purely on CFTC-regulated contracts. And also, CFB is a regulated entity by the UK FCA, and the index is the benchmark under UK BMR. So those are some of the key differentiators. Now, Gabe, let's talk about some of the use cases for our BVX index to make this a bit more tangible.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say whether you're navigating the forefront of market trends in the Bitcoin space, or if you're just trying to fortify your existing positions against any potential downturns, our BVX index can be a very powerful tool to add to your arsenal. So just to give an example, imagine that you have a sense that there could be an increase in volatility in the near term. The BVX is designed precisely to capture value in that type of scenario. So in this example, you could consider longing the BVX, or conversely, let's say you have a view that you're expecting a more sanguine or muted market volatility regime. You could short or enter a tactical short position in the BVX. But by using this type of instrument, you can identify these types of opportunities and be even more complex or more creative. So another example would be trying to create arbitrage opportunities by identifying or acting on different variances and implied volatility between the BVX or other crypto options. There's also opportunities to look at the BVX in its 30-day window and compare it to other options further out. So it's creating all sorts of, I think, insights and valuable measurements for institutional investors and traders for the very first time. One last thing that I would touch on is the hedging aspect of it. So if you are trying to engage into a prudent risk management exercise and you're a portfolio manager and you have existing Bitcoin exposure, you can use the BVX certainly to help protect your portfolio against any sort of macro uncertainty or geopolitical uncertainty in a strategic or tactical way. So all these use cases are adding a lot of utility for the very first time as we're seeing Bitcoin come more into the mainstream. And that's why I think this BVX is just a very timely index to be launched at this time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think there's also a pure data use case for this as well, in the sense that the BVX, the daily prints and the historical data, the real-time data, it can be used, for example, to calibrate risk models, to calibrate scenario analysis, trading models. You can even create trading signals in terms of rotating in and out of risk, depending on this fear-greed type of metric. So an abundance of use cases. Okay, so this brings us to the end of today's episode. If we have sparked your interest, please feel free to reach out through the CF Benchmarks website, cfbenchmarks.com. Also, please check out some of our other CFB content, including our podcast, CFB Talks Digital Assets, available on all major channels. Thank you for listening.